Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we are doing a watering video. I'm gonna show you how I water my orchids in this new room. Spoilers, it's not gonna be very different from my previous watering videos. I have some sad news because I messed up. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. I lost a few orchids because I tried to switch up my watering routine and it didn't work out. Right, so before we start though, I do hope you'll enjoy this video, and if you do, please don't forget to give it a like. It really helps it out in the algorithm, and why not subscribe? I post multiple times a week and it's completely free. But if you're feeling a little extra and you can, and you wish to further support the channel, do consider becoming a member and getting access to some private videos that I'm gonna start to actively do again soon. I have a lot of spotlights already, but there will be more because I do have more orchids in bloom. You can also use the affiliate links down below in the description. That always helps out. You can also check out the merch. We have mugs and a beautiful puzzle at the moment. Maybe another puzzle coming soon. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. And if you want none of that, you can also use the super thanks option below my videos. Righty then. With that said, let's go back in time a little bit and tell you how I've been watering my orchids for the past 8 years now. Pretty much it has to do with the setup that I use. I made a video on this, so I won't insist, but pretty much I have a setup that is always wicking. Even if there's water on the bottom, it will always wick it up and distribute it evenly throughout the pot. And I achieve this by layering bark and sphagnum moss in a certain very particular way. There's always moss at the bottom, and it's sort of a sandwich with layers. There's a layer of moss, a layer of bark, a layer of moss, and so on until the very top, where I finish off with a layer of bark. Sorry about that, my washing machine finished. She's gonna sing for a little bit. Right, so I finish with bark because I have some issues with cyanobacteria accumulating in my environment. Maybe it's the water, I don't know, but by shading everything, I make sure there's no cyanobacteria at the top. So the way that I water is not going at the sink and running water through the pot, nor do I soak the pots because I have so many orchids. It would be highly impractical and humanly impossible to water everything once a week, about once a week. That's kind of my schedule. In the winter I can go more than once a week, but in summer I do tend to water once a week. What I do is I get a watering can or a watering device. I started with a pump. You'll see, that was my mistake. And I just pour a certain amount of water through the pot. It will accumulate at the bottom, and within the day it will be sucked back up by the sphagnum moss and distributed evenly in the pot. I have enough years under my belt doing this to know how much water to actually add. And of course I'm using reverse osmosis water because yes, tap water is very hard in my area and salts would accumulate. It would not be good. I have my reverse osmosis system for many years now, and 8 years pretty much, and I've been using it constantly. I've been changing the filters regularly and it works absolutely fantastic for my orchids. Now I have it downstairs though, and here's where the problems kind of start. I have it mounted under the downstairs kitchen, but I don't have enough space to actually make a storage there. So what I have to do is do the filtering downstairs and I store it upstairs here in that bin. Let me start with the mistake that I did first, and then I'll show you how I water now, which is pretty much the same. I'm sorry to make this really long explanation, but the watering system is absolutely the same. That's gonna take us 30 seconds to exemplify. But I do want to show you the issues, so maybe you don't do them. Right, so up until now, I had those water bottles that I bought and I was storing the water there. They're 20 liters and I really don't want to carry them up the stairs. I am at like the first floor here. And the reverse osmosis is downstairs. So either my husband was helping me, but you know how guys are, you tell them something and in 6 months they go about it, you know. So I kind of didn't want to bother him anymore. So I started to bring water from downstairs in this bucket, and yeah, I was storing it here. Now, because from the bottle it's a little harder to take it out, I also bought this battery pump, which works just fine. It's just a little slow though. So filling up my usual watering can, which I'll show you, that I have for a few years now already, that I absolutely love, which I'm going to talk about. So because that watering can took a little bit of time to fill, and it was just 1 liter. That's its only flaw. I decided to go back to the pump, the sprayer pump. Now, I don't have the same one that I had 8 years ago when I made that video. I bought a new one, and this one has a different nozzle. It's not the same nozzle that the other one had. Can we focus? Yeah. You see? So I put a hole in this nozzle. It's the best hole that I can put. It's not the best at what you would call creating a sort of laminar flow, which is what you want if you don't want to splash water around. It sprinkles a little bit, and because it's a little bit harder to control the flow just by using this handle, no matter how good I am at pressing it gently so it doesn't like burst with water, sometimes it bursts. And sometimes it makes micro sprinkles, let's call them like that, which, guess what? As I discovered, get trapped in the stem of the orchids. Hence, yes, I've been getting some stem rot issues. How lovely. This is the last victim, and I've had enough of this. But let me tell you who I lost. I lost another Phalaenopsis that I think I acquired when last year or earlier this year. It was one of the fragrant Phalaenopsis that I found at the flower shop. Initially, when I saw that, I thought, well, maybe something happened when we moved houses, because there was a stressful period there. But no, it was actually the sprinkler, as I discovered. Next one I lost, you might want to sit down, Dimorphorchis lowi. He's also a monopodial. I lost him. At that point, I realized, okay, it's something I'm doing, and it's because I'm watering probably differently. So yeah, I gave up that watering system, and I brought from the other greenhouse my storage bin, which you just saw, and we're gonna go to the storage bin in a second. And this is the third one that I just saw today. And yeah, the last time I watered with the sprinkler was last week. It's watering day. They're a little bit dry. I was very busy this weekend, so maybe not last week, but the week prior to that. It's been a little more than a week. And yeah, there we go. I checked most of my orchids today. They seem okay. The monopodials are the issue, not the sympodials. But yeah, that one, or this one, is the Sakura. It's the Phalaenopsis Sogo Sakura, which I absolutely love. And she's, yeah, I don't know if I will save it because it's right in the middle. You can't cut anything here. Well, what am I gonna cut? This? I might try to cut the top, save the bottom, make it cakey, I don't know. But this is the latest victim. I lost 3 orchids due to that really bad sprinkler. I honestly didn't realize. So it is very, very highly important when you water your orchids in this way, if you choose to do that, to make sure you do not sprinkle the water around. And before anybody types it, yes, I do in fact have a fan. I have always had a fan. I just don't show it in my videos, and I shut it down for noise purposes. But I'm always running a fan in my grow rooms. But it's not equivalent to wind. No matter how much fanning you do, sometimes it's just not the same as it would be in nature. You also have a different microbial climate and so on, which I'm not going to get into. It's just not the same as nature. So things like these happen. So what I decided to do was to go back to my old greenhouse, quote unquote, get this Ikea bin that I've always stored my water in. I think I might need more water. Store my water in the bin and go back to using my favorite water can, which is this very, very affordable watering can from Amazon. I'm not sponsored. I just love it, and I'll show you why. And I am filling it up with my trusty, again, 8-year-old jug here, which is not as slow as my water pump. I just scoop water, put it in my watering can, make sure I don't make a mess of water here, and then go about watering my orchids. And let me show you why I love this can so much. It is because this watering can, when you first tilt it, it doesn't actually have that splashy, or it doesn't just flow with acceleration, hitting the bark and splashing like some watering cans do. And it also creates not a laminar flow, but I'm trying to emphasize what I'm meaning. It creates a flow that doesn't splash. I use the word sprinkle throughout this video, but what I want to say is that it doesn't splash. You see? Very, very nice. Very gentle flow. Now, with these sympodials, I don't care much. As you saw, I just poured water no matter where. But when it comes to the sympodials, it is highly important that I direct this flow and do not sprinkle the darn water everywhere. And I didn't realize how important this was up until now. So this is how I water my orchids now. It's again the same way that I've watered for the past 8 years, and it works out for me, and I became very proficient about it. But I really wanted to talk about it and show you my boo-boos, so that if you decide to do something of the sort, something similar, you be very extra careful what you're doing and how you're splashing that water about, because oh man, oh boy, oh man. I lost 3 orchids, one of which I really cared about, the Dimorphorchis loea. What am I supposed to do now? Get another seedling and wait it out for it to grow for another 6 years? What am I supposed to do now? You tell me. Just because of that darn water pump. Good job, Danny. So, watering can for the win. Its only bad side is that it only holds, this particular one, only 1 liter of water, and I haven't found a bigger one. I'm gonna take another look, see, who knows, maybe Amazon has some other stuff now. I'm not saying you should get this watering can. I'm just saying be sure that the watering device you're using doesn't splash around. Because as you can see, sometimes not even the fan and the constant windows being open is enough. Because this is just our home. It's a very alien place from so many points of view that maybe I'm not even thinking about, and we cannot even imagine that, yeah, you can get issues, very, very big issues. And even if, yeah, these are store-bought Phalaenopsis, whatever, right? I don't want to lose my orchids, that's one. And second, I just lost my Dimorphorchis loea. Good job on me. How am I going to retrieve a almost mature-sized Dimorphorchis loea now? Not nice at all. Right, so that's what I wanted to show you today. Did I come off a little bit salty? Well, that's because I kind of am salty. I'm sorry about that, but it's important for you guys to know these things as well. It's not always, fun and joy. It's most of the times joy. It's always a joy. But sometimes, bad stuff happen as well. And I've always talked about them, and I will always talk about them, not to bring anybody down, and I hope nobody was brought down, but yeah, to just show you that, hey, yeah, it happens to me as well, a lot. Don't feel sad about it. Let's hug and grab a cookie or something and let's move on and learn from our mistakes. So yeah, there we go. Back to the watering can we are. And if you want a more professional tutorial on my setup and exactly how it works, I do have a video, a more recent video. I will be sure to link it to it down below. Today was just a quick, this is how I water now. Pretty much the same thing, and this is what boo-boos I did. So alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've, I don't think you've enjoyed this video necessarily, but I hope you learned something. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today and listening even to my mistakes and my hard times and so on. Thank you for sharing these things with me. And I'm here for you if you want to share your bad orchid experiences as well. I always read the comments. I really do not have time to answer, and especially because there are so many comments, but I do read the vast majority of comments, I would say. And thank you so much for leaving me your comments. Right, so with that said, I hope you'll have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!